Welcome back to another episode of JV Starters. As always, I'm your host, Andy Vigu.
And I'm Benjamin again.
Ben, you must be really excited right now.
Yes, man. I'm alive. And so are my hopes and dreams. Mariners, last night, in epic fashion, clinched the playoffs for the second time in my 20 years of life, which is exciting. I cried the first time they made it.
That's awesome.
This time, I was close, and it was awesome. I'm excited. They're winning right now. If they win today, we take the division for the first time since 2001. That cannot be overstated. We're up 7-1 right now, so we should be good.
Awesome. I didn't realize that you could also win the division. That's really good. Awesome.
I think the Astros might miss the playoffs altogether, and I think that'll make all of America happy.
And what kind of odds are you giving the Mariners on making the World Series, much less winning it?
See, that's hard. The Mariners have been around just about as long as my parents have, and they've never made a World Series. So I think I'm biased. I think we have a shot, but there's two reasons I think so. I think the acquisitions that we made this year showed that we are all in. I think trading for Josh Naylor and Eugenio Suarez was a big deal, and they have had an insane impact. And then the second reason I say that is because of the momentum. I mean, our winning streak is insane.
All right.
We're 9-1 our last 10 for like 2 weeks, so it's pretty awesome.
Good news. Glad to hear it. My Phillies finally. It took them long enough, but finally locked down their first round bye. I got to flex a little bit on my Birds. They looked like Dookie in the first half, and then to start the second half with a fumble on the 10-yard line, going down 26-7. But brother, first halves don't win games, do they?
No, they don't. Well, unless you're like the Seahawks and you're up like 38-3 at half, that normally wins you the game.
You still got to finish that game, buddy.
It's true. You know, we can look back at a certain Super Bowl, yeah. And hey, Andy, I got to tell you, I'm an Eagles fan every week that they play the Rams or the 49ers, so I was an Eagles fan on Sunday.
Let's go. It was a beautiful thing. Before we get into our official stuff here, I'm going to take one little victory lap because, I got to point at the scoreboard when I can. As of right now, my pick for the Colts to win that AFC South or North is looking pretty good. No, South. Etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they should be in the AFC South if you think about geography.
Right. Well, the North, I think you mean, but I mean Houston.
Yes.
Is not looking like they're going to repeat. So right now, Indiana Jones killing it. But I will also own that I had a couple of takes that at least this week didn't look very good. Earlier, I was looking really good on my take that Caleb Williams is not going to be a good quarterback, and that Carson Wentz was washed. And this week, they both made me look like a big fat dummy.
Okay, I'm gonna give you some grace here. I texted you, kind of making fun of your Carson Wentz thing. I looked at his stats. I don't think it had anything to do with Wentz, to be honest. He did not have an impressive stat line. It was Isaiah Rodgers, the corner, that had the insane game, not Wentz. So Wentz did enough to win that McCarthy would have lost that game.
Yeah. No, that was amazing. I looked at them and went, whoa, okay, well, So,
I'm grateful I did not go up against Vikings defense in fantasy this week.
I will just own that. All right. What do you got? What's your first hot take topic, game, whatever you got?
I'm actually super, super excited about this one. Okay, so you're the commissioner of the NFL, right? And the NFL is seeing some decline in numbers, all right? Okay. And it's time to shake things up.
All right.
I want you to pick 2 NFL teams that need to relocate, and you're going to pick where they go, and I need you to come up with a team name for them, and it has to be alliterative. Okay?
Oh, wow. Okay, so this is... right off the top of my head, I mean, the easy one is Jacksonville. That always seemed like a dumb place for me. Now, granted, I did look it up. Jacksonville's bigger than I thought it was and all that stuff. But I guess if I was going to take Jacksonville and put them some other place, they either have to go to a new city or be the second team in a big city, right? Like, I mean, we got L.A. So I mean, I think I'd send him to Chicago, right? Go and put another team in Chicago because I really can't think of off the top of my head another place that deserves another football team. You could probably come up with some places in California, maybe a San Jose, or I have no idea. So I mean, I'd have to think real hard about that. But I'll put them over there. Put them in Chicago, and if we're going to change their name, they're not going to be the Jags anymore. Um, you know, we're going to have to come up with a alliterative name. Let me think of who my other team would be first. Uh, I don't want to take the Cleveland Browns out of Cleveland. I feel like the fans are so.
It was a
loyal
disaster
there.
last time they did that.
Well, but the fans are loyal. Like, I mean, these are people who really love that team. People who just don't care. You know what? Miami. Miami's a big city. They should have a team, but Miami fans can be so fickle and just don't go to games. So, who would I reward? Being from the Northeast, maybe I'm a little biased. I always think, hey, we got plenty of room up there to maybe have some more teams. But they should probably end up in a place like, man, you cut me to the quick on this one.
Yeah, put you on the spot.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, does Texas have room? Shoot.
Maybe like Austin or
wouldn't
San
have-
Antonio.
I wouldn't have picked Nashville before, and that looks like that was a good landing spot. You know what? I'll put them up in Toronto.
Ooh.
That's where I'd put them because Toronto has their own fan base right across from Buffalo, and I think that would be a fun little rivalry. So I'm not big on alliterative names, but since that's the rules of the game here, I think we will go with the Toronto. Jeez, why'd you have to make it alliterative?
It adds some spice to it. And hey,
Yeah.
if you're gonna complain about alliterative names, what the heck is Philadelphia Phillies? Huh? You're not big on those?
Hey, you know what? It is what it is. And that's why I'm rocking my Phillies Hawaiian shirt today with the, that's not even alliterative. That's just a repetition.
Like Los
The
Angeles
New
Angels.
Yorkers. I mean, it's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Los Angeles
So-
Angels is the crazy one.
I think if we went, if we weren't, just to fun, I would call them the Toronto Drakes. But if it's got to be alliterative, I'm gonna have to go with the Toronto Tacklers. It's terrible.
Okay.
Terrible,
Yeah,
but I'm
it's
trying to
pretty
think
bad.
football. Yeah,
I can't think of a good T one other than like Titan. Titans is a great name.
and then Chicago. Now I may have a little fun with this one here because alliterative just has to be the first letter, right? It doesn't have
the
to be a ch or a ch sound or something. So I'm gonna go with the Chicago Cannibals.
Whoa. Yeah, that's and Dan Campbell has to be the coach.
Dan Campbell's gonna bite your knee.
Yes, he's gonna eat those kneecaps. I like that. I like Toronto and then a second team Chicago because I think as Americans we forget just how big Chicago is because it's in the Midwest. That is a
So big.
humongous city. It's crazy.
Yeah, they got.
I think that they're so loyal to the Bears. I don't know if you could really stick another team in there, but I mean maybe like a Southside type thing, kind of like the White Sox.
be all the haters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to look at a map and demographics if you really want to get down and find some other place where you could fit somebody. But I guess I'll go with that. The Cannibal.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So for my answers, the two cities
I'm sorry. How much does the state of Florida hate me right now? Then
he's taking away.
all of their football.
Hey, but you're
Well, I
saving
like
them
the
a lot of
Tampa.
grief because you're
I like
taking the
Tampa.
bad teams.
Yeah,
You're taking the bad teams. That's all that matters.
That's it. All right.
I think the number one team I think needs to relocate is the Chargers. I think it's sad.
Again? They just
Yes.
built a stadium.
Well,
they're
let the
charity.
Rams have it. Have the Rams buy out the rights to it. I think that moving the Chargers out of San Diego was the worst possible decision they could have made for that team. I think that was a really rough decision because every time you watch a Chargers home game, it's an away game. It's
Are you
crazy.
sending them to Chicago and then you already have your alliteration?
No, so here's the thing about the Chargers. I think that the Chargers would be a good team to go to like a smaller market team or city that would have incredible loyal fans, and I think that is Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City, huh?
Yeah, you sniffed that one out.
Yeah.
I think for Salt Lake City, I think that the best team name is already taken, which would be the Salt Lake City Saints. New Orleans already took that one, so I think you'd have to come up with something a little bit different, and I think that maybe something like I think that like Utah Mammoth was great, but if we're gonna do alliterative,
The Snowmen?
maybe.
They could be the Snowcats or the Sabercats or the.
Ooh, Sabercats is good, because aren't there Sabercats in the Utah area? Well, sabers, but like mountain lions type thing. It'd be good. It'd be good. And then the second city I think that needs a team could possibly be somewhere like Portland, Oregon, because the Seahawks are so isolated in that corner of the map.
Well, Portland doesn't get along with Seattle either.
No. And I'm not saying that I would start rooting for them. I'm just saying I think that the Seahawks need a neighbor, because every single year we have the most miles traveled, and that has an effect on a football team when you're that jet lagged.
At least they get
after
one
travel.
one game closer.
hey, it's significant, Yeah. Maybe replace one of our trips to Florida with a trip to Portland. You could take the bus. So
then you could have Salt Lake City, you could have Portland, and you could have San Francisco.
Yeah, that'd be a good division.
I mean, it's funny that you say that, because as I was kind of quickly trying to think through cities, I went down the West Coast and I checked Portland off as having a team.
You're thinking of NBA.
Yeah. I was like, oh well, it can't be Portland. I mean, they already have a team.
Yeah.
Well, you put me on the spot. Man, I had to come up with a city. I had to come up with a city to make happy and one to make sad, and then alliterate. Oh, yeah. So what's the Portland team going to be named, and where are you stealing them from?
So when I'm thinking about stealing it from somewhere, I think I have to agree with the Jaguars. Every single year there's rumors like, are they going to move to London? No,
Isn't it
they're
obvious
never
the
going to move to
NFL
London.
even doesn't want them in Jacksonville?
I think it's
they
pretty
send
obvious.
them to London every year.
Yeah. It's like the Lions playing on Thanksgiving. You can count on it.
What do you think about a team ending up over in London?
I think it's never going to happen. Yeah. There's just no way. That's it. They would just have such an advantage when it comes to like every single home game. The other team is going to be crazy jet lagged, and that's just that's just not fair.
Yeah, but wouldn't they also then want to schedule like three away games in a row?
Yeah.
They go over and like, all right, can we play 2 on the West Coast and 1 on the East Coast, then we'll go home?
Yeah. That's actually not a bad. That's not a bad like trade off.
So that they might have a great home field advantage, but they're also going to be like without a home. It's weird. So
yeah,
all
yeah.
right.
And for a team name, I think like, oh man, like the Penguins maybe. Portland Penguins, Portland Pirates.
Even though there's no Penguins anywhere near there, but yes.
Well, hey, dude, it's I've never seen a Jaguar in Jacksonville.
Supposedly they're in Florida, but I don't know.
I've never seen a Titan in Tennessee.
They also say they're here in Tucson, but I haven't seen them here either. They say they crossed the border. That's where Corona Foothills has the Jaguars. But
yeah, that was a fun segment. I like that. That's
good. All right.
Sorry, Jaguars fans.
Mine is one that I don't know. A lot of people probably already think this, so it may not be that hot of a take. But people have been bagging on the Chiefs and saying, the dynasty is over. And I refuse to say the dynasty is over unless you just mean consecutive years, because that's not exactly what a dynasty is. A dynasty can kind of fade and come back the way the Patriots did a little bit. I mean, they had 10 years between Super Bowl wins at one point. So mine is just going to be a little more present, and that is that the Chiefs are going to end the season with a losing record. I went and looked at their schedule, and just so you know, right? Because at first I was like, this might be too hot a take. Okay, so they play Sunday. They host the Ravens. Then they go to Jacksonville. Then they host the Lions. They host the Raiders. Then the Commanders. They go to Buffalo. They go to Denver. They host Danny Dimes. They go to Dallas, host the Texans, host the Chargers. They go to Tennessee, host Denver, and then they finish off at Las Vegas Raiders. So just by skimming through that, I won't go one game at a time. I did want to name it just because there's a lot of rough games in there, and some of them are in their own division. I mean, they already got smacked around by the Chargers, in Brazil, but I mean, I can easily add up 8 or 9 losses in there. I think they're going to split with the Raiders. They're going to get, Ravens, Chiefs, Commanders, Bills, maybe the Colts. There's way too many in there that they could lose. So
it's really funny. We're at a point in the season where we're calling the Colts a tough game for the Chiefs to win. It's really funny that we're at that point.
At this point, you put those two teams side by side, blank, resume or whatever.
Colts are the favorite.
So what do you think? Chiefs going to win a winning record, losing record? There's no such thing as a 500 record unless you have a tie somewhere in there.
And I'll get to that point later. I think the Chiefs sneak out 9-8. I think when you run that over, I think just over half of those are wins.
What's
just over half? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, they've stunk so far. What's going to change? Now, granted, Kelsey caught that ball. Maybe they win. I mean, Eagles still get another shot, but you never know. Like, I mean, some of these, that's maybe one bounce of the ball. But, I mean, what's going to change is it their wide receivers? I mean, I've seen Pat Mahomes make some bad, ugly throws.
I think what changes is they get their Smith-Schuster, but I think they get their juju back. They get their momentum. They gain that mindset of, oh wait, we should be a top 5 team in the league. And I think that there's some trap games, but I think that they win just over half, just out of pure coaching. And then I think they just need to get that momentum going.
All right, so you think that the coaching it may be enough?
I think that the coaching combined with the momentum will get them a winning record. But I think that the Chiefs are that surprise team from that first time you asked me that are that team that misses the playoffs.
So you have them getting 9 wins but still missing the playoffs.
Yeah, that's pretty common in a 17-game schedule. So,
well, it looks like their one bye week is on week 10. So they're going to have to suck it up for a little while here.
They're going to have to get the ball rolling. I see that. And look, I don't want the Chiefs to make the playoffs any more than the next guy, but I think that they will sneak out a winning record. I don't see a world in which they lose 10 games. I really don't see that.
All right. What's your second take here?
Okay. So Peyton Manning did a segment where he proposed some rule changes, and I want to break them down real quick.
Yeah.
I want you to pick 2 out of, I think it was 4 or 5 that you would implement. And if you can't come up with 2, then I'll accept that as well.
All right.
Okay, rule number 1, intercepted Hail Marys should not count against quarterbacks at the end of the half.
I mean, is this really a problem?
That's a really valid point.
Like, look, in basketball, they talk about this type of thing with having guys launch a ball at the end of a quarter. Just because you never know. Maybe you can get it to go in, but some guys really don't want to hurt their shooting percentage because, they do that 3 times a game. Like, that's, that it adds up. How often are we really throwing Hail Marys? I don't know what the numbers are, but
It's not very often.
I think he's creating a problem when there isn't one. And not for nothing, what is the defense told to do on a Hail Mary?
SWAT.
Knock it down, right?
Yeah.
So the odds are that they're not even going to try to intercept it. So I think it's a solution without a problem.
That's true. And therefore, I think because there's no problem, I also don't think that there'd be a problem to send this rule through. Because, I mean, in the off chance that it happens, it's like, I mean, sure. I see his point where it's like, you don't want that on your stat line. So it's like,
I just don't know how many times it's doing it in a season. How many times is any quarterback throwing a Hail Mary in a season? 3?
Yeah. And how many times is it intercepted? less than 1 on average.
Yeah. So sure, you want to implement it? Sure. Who cares? Go
Yeah,
for
I
it.
agree.
All right. What do
Okay.
you got?
All
You
right.
like the one where the guy has to pay the money right on the.
All right. Second rule change: false start and offside penalties should be equal within the 10-yard line. If you're on the 1-yard line and the offense false starts, and they go back to the 6-yard line.
Well, now he further explained that when Eli asked him about it, and he says that's only in a very limited circumstance if it happens back to back. So if you're all the way at the 1 and you're sent back 5 yards, and then the defense is offsides, you only get half the distance to the goal. So he's saying, I want that 5 yards back. So
Oh yeah.
that's what he said. So if you're at the 6-yard line and the defense goes offsides, but it wasn't preceded by you being sent back on a false start or something, then it's still half the distance. So sure, why not? Go ahead, you can implement that. Like,
Okay.
it's got again super limited focus on that one.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I agree with that. That does make no sense when he points it out like that. You
Because
you
you
lose
lose
5
you only
yards.
gain 2.5 or 3.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not super fair. Yeah. Rule number 3: targets should not be an official statistic. And he's talking about targets to wide receivers and tight ends, not like targeting.
It sounds like a quarterback whining about his stats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what the article that I'm pulling this from says. It's like it's all quarterback focused, which I mean it's coming from Peyton Manning. So what do you expect?
Yeah, he's whining that you don't know who I was throwing to. Yes, we do. Yeah, we do. Like the times where we don't know who you're throwing to, who cares? Like here's the stat that I would be the rule change I would fully accept. That's people talk about this before, that tipped balls that are intercepted shouldn't count against the quarterback. That's a real stat that I think ought to be that should not go against him. It bounces off your receiver's hands, especially if it was catchable, right? Or anybody else, they tip it, fine. Like that, I think it should be. I know that's not one he talked about.
Yeah, yeah. So like we're not accepting it the way that he's saying it, but there is like a universe where part of the idea could be implemented, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Sweet. And then the fourth rule is that batted balls should be illegal.
That's just stupid. Did you get the whole explanation on that?
Nobody comes to a football game hoping to see someone bat down a pass. It's lazy by the defensive lineman. Sorry, Peyton, that's so wrong.
What he says, because Eli is pushing back on all these, and what he said was, Eli's like, so nobody's allowed to raise their arms? He goes, no, you can, but if you're stuck at the line and you can't get past the offensive lineman, if you bat a ball, then it's a do-over. Replay the down. Come
Absolutely
on,
not,
dude.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's pretty exciting when you see a defensive lineman bat a ball, like especially when it's your team, and you're like,
Well, not
heck
for nothing,
yeah,
but isn't this part of the reason that people draft tall quarterbacks?
that's true.
Yeah.
To see over the line and to get the ball over the defensive lineman. And I played defensive end, and so it's hard to get past those offensive linemen.
I can't see anybody getting behind that rule. Nobody. Zero teams would vote for it.
I don't even think that quarterbacks would vote for it because you want your team to do it to the other guy.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Eagles, right? You got Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter. You got big guys. We want them big mitts up there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, Peyton. That's a terrible rule. And then the last one, cash payments on the field for late hits. This is one that you were mentioning. When a hit on the quarterback is going to result in a fine for the defensive player, there should be a cash payment on the field. The defensive player has to go and get the actual cash from the sideline and physically hand it to the quarterback. It would eliminate those kinds of play because of the public embarrassment by the defensive player. It is the stupidest thing I have ever seen. I watched that
There's
on
100
Instagram.
reasons you can't implement that, right?
Yeah, no, this isn't a Mr.
Among
Beast
them,
video.
Everybody has to bring money to the game?
They'll never play games in Brazil again if they do that.
Oh, well played. Well played. Yeah. I don't know. We all have a debit card on the sideline. Like, do
You
you
just
really
swipe
think
it.
that they're so embarrassed by this? No. First of all, everyone appeals every fine that they ever get, right? So it takes forever to implement them. Some of them are reviewed and they go, oh, actually, you know what? Never mind. We're not going to penalize that guy, right? So I got to pay you. Now I got to get my money back. He did say the money still goes to charity and all that stuff. Doesn't go to the quarterback or something. But like, come, you know what? I think if these are his real proposals, we really have to revisit Peyton Manning CTE and getting him evaluated.
It's
These are dumb.
big old head he has, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got bumped around a little bit.
Come
But
on, man.
I think that that last rule in particular, I think Peyton Manning has been watching too much Mr. Beast because he sees these videos of them with these briefcases full of cash and you just hand it to somebody.
That or
It's not that
WWE.
easy to make a transaction.
He's watching WWE where guys are got to climb the ladder and get the briefcase of money. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, it's just I love the two completely different eras we went there with Mr. Beast and WWE.
Right? Yeah,
But,
yeah, exactly. There's the
I'm sorry,
generational
Peyton.
gap.
I,
You know,
we don't.
My second one is actually a rule change that I want to see implemented,
Oh,
and this would cause absolute chaos. So I like that you went into some rules here. This rule is there is no incomplete passes anymore. Every
Terrible.
ball is live.
that is terrible. Oh my
Now,
gosh.
it doesn't mean that there's nonstop play, right? You still get tackled.
Mm-hmm.
You still get pushed out of bounds. But can you imagine how different the passing game would look if I launched the ball downfield and overthrow my guy? Now everyone's just chasing the ball.
That would be way too OP for a team with like Josh Allen, just they can throw it over everybody's head, and then at that point it's like you have a gunner on like a punt coverage.
That's
It's-
it. You're running out
Receivers would be replaced by gunners,
there.
and you just draft
know
the
what-
tallest or the fastest guy, not the guy with the best hands.
Obviously, there would be injuries galore as everyone is constantly diving on the ground after balls. But I like the idea that there is some sort of a price to pay, right? Because right now we can you can roll out and obviously got quarterbacks throw it out of bounds and when they. But I just like the idea that there is it would change the way you call the game. There's more balls you're throwing to the sideline, so if they drop it, your guy's trying to like kick it out of bounds or something. Over the middle? Over the middle? You're not going to hang that guy out to dry, are you? Because this guy, it's ruled not a catch because he's got hit over the middle. Who's standing there but a linebacker or a safety, buddy?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be fun for like maybe a Pro Bowl game or something, you know? Like have a Pro Bowl game. Like
Who do you feel like that benefits more? Does that benefit more the defense or the offense?
I think it benefits. I think it'd be split. I think it would slightly more benefit the defense because I think that there's more passes over the middle that fall incomplete, on like a game-to-game basis. But I think that the offense would just shift their scheme to, just chuck it deep, have a gunner there to like scoop it up and score, just outrun the defense. Unless you start playing like Hail Mary defense where you have safeties standing at the back of the end zone and
Well,
it's
I
just
think that when it comes to offense, it's a huge benefit, right? Because if you go, all right, I got 3rd and 12. Well, if my guy drops it but falls on it, does he get a first down?
it's a good question.
You know what I mean?
think
Now I don't have to have – now speed is a big thing, but hands are less important if I feel
Exactly.
like you can get on a ball or chase down a ball.
one of the things to consider is just how much that would destroy clock management and coaching. Because there's no more spiking. There's no more,
Well,
hey, just throw like a quick pass. If it falls, it falls.
You can have a carve out for a spiking. I mean, you can have a carve out.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. It feels difficult for me because I think
Chaos,
that the
right?
whole reason the forward pass came about was for hands and not for speed. I don't like the idea of having gunners instead of receivers. That it's just like, all right, I'm gonna chuck it over their heads. Go get it.
But you also
I like watching catches.
You also get well. I mean, they're still going to try and catch it because that the catch is the big benefit to the offense. It's that it may become a 50-50 ball for a guy who drops it. Now, how do you scheme against that? You have two receivers in the same area, so the guy it's thrown to, and then the guy who falls on the ball.
Yeah, and okay, I'll give you this. I think, like I was saying, this would be fun for like a Pro Bowl event. I think, I don't know if you've ever really like sat down and played Madden with Jackson, but there's times in Madden where they come up with like an event, and it's called House Rules, and you play like a regular online head-to-head, except the rules are a little bit different. For example, if you throw a touchdown this certain length, it's this amount of points. Or there's ones where it's like every time you get tackled, you fumble, right? It's something like that. They just change something. That would be really fun for the Pro Bowl to implement. Maybe that would resurrect the Pro Bowl, which heaven knows we need. But if you were to have mini games, like house rules mini games like that, where it's like, all right, if it's an incomplete pass, it's a fumble. Pick it up, score. That would be fun to watch. But I think leave like the actual regular season rules with the forward pass exactly how they are. I think it'd be fun for like a mini game in the Pro Bowl.
All right. Do you have any more hot takes or a game or anything?
Yeah, my last hot take I wanted to get into was one that I don't know. I remember a couple years back when they announced they were changing this, I was like kind of excited, and I also was like, I don't know if that's really a good idea. I think that there's a lot of things I don't like about that. I'm at the point now where I'm ready to go back. My hot take is the 16-game schedule was perfect. I think the 16-game schedule was the perfect length for a football season. And one of the reasons I think that is because it allows for teams to go 500, and then it also, having like the 4-game preseason was a little bit better. And then I also think that you start to see guys really get tired at the end of a season. I think that extra game, it makes a big difference.
So my pushback on this is that I think 4 preseason games is too many. So I don't see that as a benefit as, we'll bring back that 4th preseason game. I think 4 is too many. I think 3 is more than enough. I mean,
Okay.
Look at college. College doesn't do any, and they seem to be just fine. So the whole reason for the preseason is not to get your team ready. It's to find out which of your undrafted free agents are going to make the team, and that type of thing. So, if they want to cut the preseason down to 1 game or 2, I'd be fine with that too. Is 17 too many? It could be. But if the argument is, well, this 16 allows teams to go 500, I don't know what the point of that is. Do you see a benefit to that? I just, you have to give me more of a reason why I want teams to have a 500 record.
Well, it's not just, that's not the only reason. I think that that same year they also changed the playoff bracket to have a seventh seed, which I think is too many also. I think when you have 14 out of 32 teams making the playoffs, that's almost half. I think that at that point, there's some teams making it in that shouldn't. I think a 6-game or a 6-seed playoff bracket per conference, and then a 16 schedule, 16 game
just
schedule.
Like anything, it's all done for money, right? One more game gets more money. Now, granted, they got rid of the preseason, added you can maybe they're making similar money, but when you add teams to the playoff, just like we've seen in college basketball, and they've got the play-in round and all this stuff, it's to get more cities involved, more fans cheering still, and go, ooh, our guys still have a chance, and I that's okay as long as they're deserving, right? I would be okay with the 7 teams if there was some sort of rule that guaranteed that we're not getting a losing record in there, right? And for me, that would be if the last team that's going to make it has a losing record, which seems less likely just the way that they run the wild card. I feel like if that was the case, because where it does happen is that division winners are guaranteed to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've had division winners in the past with a losing record make the playoffs. I think the Seahawks did it once.
Beastquake.
Right? Oh, was that year? So
We would have never had Beastquake if we didn't make it.
So, I mean, I've seen people have proposals that we need to reseed the playoffs or have no divisions at all because it having the division means division winner, and the division winner could have a losing record, and then they still make the playoffs, and they get to host a home game. Like, I'm actually more okay with you if you want to reseed the playoffs, right? So that you don't have a losing record hosting a home game. Like, that doesn't seem right. Or if you got, all right, well, let's say the AFC has a lot of teams with winning records. The NFC is going to have somebody with a losing record. Then they're out, and the AFC comes in, and they play in the NFC.
No, absolutely not. I think that winning your division is a big deal because you play your division twice a year. You play each opponent twice a year, and to come out of that on top, it says a lot about your team. Maybe you shouldn't be guaranteed a home game, but you should be guaranteed playoffs even if you have a losing record.
Okay. So my real complaint about the way they changed the playoffs is that there's only the top seed gets that first round bye.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to get to next.
Yeah, and when it comes to football, more than any other sport, it feels like there's a lot of injuries because it's a collision sport, and so if we're going to reward the guys the top two teams, right, they get these home games and all that stuff, then that week off to rest and recuperate is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to get to my point about 500, the reason that I think that teams going 500 is a big deal is just because I think there's a bigger difference between being 500 and being over 500 than being over 500 and under 500, if that makes sense. Like being 9-8 versus 8-9, that feels like a bigger step down. Or like I'm trying to like phrase this the way that it makes sense in my brain, but like when you go 8-8, it's so much better to go 9-7. Like it's like a better incentive record, to avoid that.
You have guys like Mike Tomlin who didn't have a losing record, but he was 8-8, right?
Yeah.
No,
and so
I'll grant you. Okay.
My big thing with that is I think it incentivizes a little bit more because like 9-8, it feels so close to 8-9, but when you're 8-7, it's like, okay, we're either going to have a winning record or we're not. Yeah. And so, or if you're 7-8, it's like, okay, let's make it to 500.
When baseball local markets have always done well in baseball, but nationally it doesn't do as well. And one of the ideas to, drum up some interest was to shorten the season so that you can both move the playoffs a little earlier, compete less with football, better weather, and the games mean more if there's 154 instead of 162. And that's a pretty modest cut. But if they're not willing to do that, you can bet that the NFL is not going to cut out one of 17 games, right? That's a much bigger cut than what they're proposing in baseball, and they wouldn't give it up.
Yeah, and I estimate that they're not going to go back because they're talking about making it 18, which, okay, that would bring back the, your 500.
Parity and 500, yeah.
But I just think that's so many games, and, you start to worry about your guys at a certain point. It's like, I
don't think they can talk about safety if they keep adding games.
Yeah. Like, they're bringing in these guardian caps and stuff, and they're like, yeah, safety. They're the targeting is becoming a bigger deal, roughing the passer, but then they're adding games.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. It feels a little bit backwards to me. I think safety, yes, but also I just want records to make sense. Because
it's
analytics is a big thing to me.
I think a better way to phrase that might be that you have a better chance of having a division winner without a losing record if they can go 8-8, right? Mm-hmm. Right now it's either winning record, losing record at the end of the season. That's it. You got no chance we drew even. All right, I've got one more rule change. This one shouldn't take long. You're gonna hate it. It is the team that wins a playoff game gets to steal a player from the losing team. And the caveat to that was that a player can only be stolen once. So if I beat your team in round one and steal a player, now somebody beats me, they can't take that player, right, and keep moving him along.
I've seen like YouTube videos of this, like using Madden, and it's like
Imagine.
they treat it like
It's ridiculous.
kind of like Risk, I think is what they do. And so it's fun. It's fun like in that like vacuum of it's a video game. Now, here's what I'll tell you this. This is not as confusing as the transfer portal in college football. It hurts my brain when players just bounce around, and it's like who's on whose team, where are these superstars at? But if you're gonna, it's not as bad as the transfer portal. I'll give you that much. If it's just one player moving per week,
And it's just for the
know,
playoffs. You get them back at the next season.
I think that's a fun concept. Let's leave it to Madden YouTubers, because I don't think that the players would ever want to fight for that team. You just lose to that team, and now you're supposed to go throw on their jersey and help them win a Super Bowl. It's like, if that was me in that case, I'd be sabotaging.
I don't know. These guys still get a ring.
Yeah, but will it feel like it if, let's say that you're, I don't know, let's say that you're Michael Pittman on the Colts.
Yes,
The Chiefs
yes.
knock you
I'm
out
gonna
in the
say
wild
that
card round.
I'm going to say they all want a ring.
Yeah, sure, they all want a ring, but it's like, how humiliating is it if Okay, I'm gonna stick with that. Michael Pittman, they get beat by the Chiefs. They're kind of throwing punches, shoving during the game, and at the end it's like, hey, Andy Reid like points at him like, hey, you're with us now. That kind of feels like a slap in the face.
I think it'd be awesome. And here's the kicker, is that if you have any escalators or elevating clauses in your contract that say things like win a Super Bowl, get $500,000, the team that took you is the one that has to pay it.
That's true. That's true.
There's no reason that your team should have to pay you that, but you still deserve it.
Last thing to consider, what happens in the locker room when that team goes back to his first team? I mean,
Hey, you know what? I guarantee you that they all respect him. Because unless you're campaigning during the game, pick me, then they're all going to be like, bro, you had to do it, man. That's the rules. You got yours. Good job.
every team has a guy that would.
Now, if he comes
That
back
would be
and he wants to be like, look
fighting
at
for
my
it.
ring, right? And he's like, then maybe they mete out some locker room justice. But no, if that's the rule, everybody, there's those rules, those kind of unwritten rules. You don't mess with another man's wallet. And so if this guy goes here and that's the rule. Oh, okay, well, they just took our quarterback. One of the funny little comments underneath. See, I found both these rules on some NFL Reddit page, and they had a whole bunch more that were hilarious. But they said that there's a lot of people who might, as Cowboys fans, were going crazy on the idea that that they would pick up Tom Brady and dump Dak. That would be really funny, though, right? Can you imagine some team that they made the playoffs on their defense, their quarterback's not great, and they're like, all right, Trevor Lawrence, you're on our team now. Their quarterback's like, hey.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an interesting rule to consider, but
I would be more concerned about what happens in the winning team's locker room than what happens in the losing team's locker room.
that too. I didn't even consider that.
That's
it's
a
like,
bigger deal.
Let's say you're Dak Prescott, that
Nobody's
you
going
just
to
beat
deny you go off and go win your Super Bowl, buddy. We failed it. You go. But what do you think happens when they're like, yeah, our right tackle is terrible.
Yeah, come on, Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
So it'd be
No,
hard.
I think that's the bigger concern.
Yeah.
All right.
Before we wrap up,
Yeah.
I have incredible news for you.
Okay.
Not only are the Mariners up 9-1, Cal Raleigh just hit his 60th home run of the season,
Ooh.
just barely,
60.
and that
That's
is
rare
significant.
air.
That I think that's MVP. I think that has to be MVP.
That's awesome, dude. Congratulations.
Man, a record to behold, Cal Raleigh. I love you.
Yeah. Good on them. And let's see real quick. So how many games do they have left? The Mariners are 88-69.
Yeah, so we have one more game against the Rockies, the worst team in baseball, and then we have a 3-game series against the Dodgers, who are one of the top teams in baseball. So it's a
So
going
that's
to be an
also
interesting.
that also
homestand.
means that he got 60 on and well, it's still not 160. It's not 152 like it was back in Beirut Day, but good on him. Good job, Cal Raleigh.
With 4 games left.
Well done.
Let's break the record, the AL record. All
All right, everybody, like and subscribe. Tell your friends. And in
Do
the
it.
end, go Birds, go Phils.
Go Hawks, go M's.
Peace.